What the world needs now is another Beatles podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, everyone, to the introduction of the Beatles Come to America. I am your host, Tom Gouker, and I will be interviewing the Beatles Guru Brooke Halpin for a limited run podcast series. Okay, so there are a ton of Beatle podcasts out there, and now we have another one. Back in the day when vinyl was king, the Beatles albums were chopped up and mixed up like gremlins in a blender by the Capitol Record Company and served to a hungry American audience. Gone is Beatles 66. Something new, the Beatles' second album. Instead, we have the British releases and the Past Masters 1 and 2. We got our Beatles fix. But we were raised on these Capitol records, and it's possible that they're still sitting on your shelves in your living rooms. We chat about the American version of Revolver versus the British version. Hello, my name is Tom Gouker, and I am the host of this series, and I currently have a podcast called Something Came from Baltimore, which is not really about Baltimore, but about good music. And if you have not subscribed yet, I have a link in the show notes. I want you to be a part of our Be More Music scene. During the 20-plus shows, I am picking the brain of the Beatle guru, Brooke Halpin. As I often say, Brooke sweats Beatle DNA. Brooke knows the Beatles inside and out as he's written books. Experiencing the Beatles, a listener's companion. Do you really know the Beatles? A magical mystery time, and he has a radio show called Come Together with the Beatles with Brooke Halpin on KBUU 99.1 FM in Malibu. You can catch his show on Saturdays and Sundays, 12 noon Pacific time. Check the show notes for Brooke Halpin's contact information. Brooke is an accomplished pianist, composer, painter, broadcaster, and author. He is the real deal. So this podcast is a conversation between Brooke and I about the best musical group in the whole entire wide world. You get the Beatle Guru's thoughts on each album and every track, even The Chase from the Help soundtrack or From Me to You Fantasy from A Hard Day's Night soundtrack. I'm asking you to subscribe to this podcast, The Beatles Come to America. It's only a limited run, close to 20 shows in total, and we will be able to relive what it was like to take home the Hey Jude or Yesterday and Today album, and you will fall in love with the Beatles all over again. A new show will be released every 2 weeks until it's over. Also, stay in touch with The Beatles Come to America on Facebook. The link will be in the show notes also. We want you to play along with us and rank your favorite U.S. albums in order. After each conversation with Brooke, I would ask him to rank his favorite albums. We both agreed that is harder than you think. I recommend you write them down before you start to listen to the podcast and see if it changes after completion. Write your list down on the Beatles Come to America Facebook page. Share it with us. The Beatle guru, Brooke Halpin, is also a famous musician, and as a bonus of each episode, Brooke will share one of his original compositions with us. Before we end this discussion, I just want to give a shout out to all the other amazing Beatle podcasts that are out there. I'm going to miss a couple, but these are the ones that I listen to. Beatles Books, Completely Beatles, Fab4 Free for All, Fabcast, Am the Eggpod, Nothing is Real, Producing the Beatles, Screw It, we're just going to talk about the Beatles, The Beatles Naked, Yesterday and Today, Something About the Beatles, Beatles City, Blotto Beatles, Fabcast, Things We Said Today, and the amazing Take It Away, the Paul McCartney podcast. I'm mentioning these podcasts because, one, they are talking about the best band in the world. Two, their production values are intense. Three, this is a labor of love for them and also with Brooke and myself. We are talking about the Beatles, and we do have a Patreon or some equivalent, but as COVID-19 roared on this year and the weird election thing happened in the U.S., I noticed that I was looking for comfort, and I turned to all these podcasts. I didn't want to focus on politics while I was bunkered down for the months. I just wanted to escape from all of that, and I turned to Beatles fans talking about the Beatles. So I just want to thank all the Beatles podcasts for allowing my thoughts and mind land in a safe space during this time period. I hope that we can do the same for you. So to recap, we love the Beatles, and we hope that you do also. We have this podcast. It's called The Beatles Come to America, where we review the U.S. album versions that we grew up on. Your host is Tom Gouker, and I have a podcast called Something Came from Baltimore. The Beatles Guru is Brooke Halpin, who is all-knowing when it comes to Beatles. He sweats the Beatle DNA. This is a limited run series, so please subscribe and tell your friends. We want you to get involved and write down your top U.S. albums from the best to worst. This is a DIY lo-fi podcast, so what you're going to hear is some pops and hisses. Just use your imagination and assume that it is a scratchy Beatle record. Welcome to The Beatles Come to America, the podcast.
The Beatles Come to America. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Coming up, episode 1, introducing the Beatles.